MD-UG.68.2 Disciple 01 will worship the Dharma for 81 years by gathering together to die in a group. This is not a threat. Hello everyone. Today, I am here with a charge that will make it easy for everyone to see. I don't know if it will be easy or not, but I have tried my best to make everyone understand. After understanding, what will you do? That is another matter. It is very urgent. I have to stay up all night to make this happen. For many days, I have been talking about the most important and dangerous matter. And even the clip was released. The matter has a long background, so there was a story of the truth of the famous temple. That was the initial case. This caused 01 to be ostracized from the temple. What happened before that, and the truth of the famous temple, happened because 01 could not talk to anyone or order anyone anymore. Whether it is the rough way or the subtle way, I could not communicate it to tell others correctly and without distortion, except for the method that 01 trained with the person I call the real knower. And I have the merit to be the receiver of the message to send to everyone. In order not to waste time, you will see that this is a diagram of what has happened for a long time and the results that will happen at the final level. I will tell you point by point, story by story. Do you know where the story started? Don't argue whether it is true or not yet. Let me give you some information first. Some people may know some things already, but they are not sure if it is true or not. But I would like to tell you that the information I am about to tell you comes from the special method of Dhammakaya knowledge 01 called the Dragon Overlaying Body Method to make it easy to remember. And to sound a bit like a martial arts story so that it is not too stressful. But the truth is, 01 performs Dhammakaya overlaying on a person with merit and communicates through the mind, even though that person does not have the detailed Dhamma to see in detail. It is not because that method can still be interfered with by the devil. 01 said that it is distorted because the mind leads them to see things clearly and says that it is true. But in reality it is not. That can still be distorted easily. So 01 has to train people to do special methods for 01. 01 will know in advance that one day it will be like this. And train this person and receive the message through special methods, which he probably will not say which methods, but there are some to tell. Believe it or not is up to you. But as the one who sent the story, I have seen that many things are true already. So I went ahead with it because I believe in Dhammakaya knowledge. And importantly, personally, I have had the opportunity to receive confirmation from 01 as well, as to how much I can believe it. And I am confident. That's why I've been doing this job. The beginning of the big problem that's going to happen on this World Earth Day, which made me have to tell you this story in a simple way, on the whole map. Let's follow along and I'll expand on it for you to see. The first point I'm going to show you is the whole story. It started from one person, whom I'll call 06. Starting from 06. He had an older brother who played the stock market, right? But his older brother was a practitioner who reached the 18 Dhammakaya bodies and was stable. Actually, 01 wanted him to stay and do detailed knowledge. But he saw that 01's work was very big and he had knowledge about stocks. So he volunteered to change his plan to be the supply side because he was afraid that 01's work was this big. If there was no stable supply side, 01's work might not move forward. And he didn't want to be at that point where he would lose opportunities. So he volunteered to be the supply side. So 01 let him be. He's told the story before. I won't tell it here. But something happened after 2014 because 06's older brother hasn't been seen since. I don't know what happened to him. Until today, no one has seen it. But the last time we saw him was the merit-making event for the construction of the Thata Chivo Pagoda in September 2014. As far as I can remember, the Phapa ceremony for the construction of the pagoda was mentioned in some clips. You can go back and listen. Now I'm going to say that 06 also wanted to learn about stock trading. I'm trying to summarize it because in the end, the problem arose when '06 lost a lot of money in stock trading and was in huge debt. Actually, at that time, he was already a monk. But if you tell the story behind it, it's like what an expert told me. '06 found money by raising money like '01 invited people to make merit. '06 didn't know how to do it. He didn't know how to invite people to make merit either. So '06 thought that if he wanted to take care of this group instead of '01, how much money would he need in the future? So '06 searched for ways in the world on the internet and other things to see if there was a way for him to do it. And it might have ended up with the same knowledge that his older brother already knew, which was stock trading. Stock trading has both gains and losses. But the losses are more than the gains because it's a form of gambling. Therefore, it's not easy to expect to get it all the time. When someone gets caught up in this method, they will lose. I didn't come to this point in time when people were inviting people to invest money in the whole area. I don't know about this. I heard from other people that they told '06 to invest in stocks. But I don't know how it worked. I don't know how much profit or dividends he got. But in the end, the cause of the whole thing came from the amount that '06 owed. I don't know who he borrowed it from. But '06 owed a huge amount. People told me that this was the reason '06 had to find money to pay off his debts. Then he met the Kumari spirit, who they call Aunt Muang. Muang must have had a way of speaking like she was a golden-tongued mina, so she offered to exchange benefits. What was that about? From what I've heard, Muang must have received an order from the father, maybe like that, to come and ask for some donations because Wat Dhammakaya must have a lot of money. '01 is good at making merit or something. Then he just followed the order or something. But '01 couldn't give it. '01 already saw how far merit and sin went with Dhammakaya knowledge. '01 saw it all the way to heaven and hell. He knew how much wrong he had done, where it had gone, and how he was punished. '01 didn't give it. Said that you really can't give it, it's a sin. And the more it is the money of the suppression side, which will go to the ultimate dharma, this merit money is very valuable, beyond calculation. If it is a great merit, when it is sinful, it is a much greater proportion of sin. So it is something that '01 will not let anyone risk going to hell at all. '01 will not give at all. Actually, '01 is kind, and if '01 gives to the princess, she will get a lot of sin. But she probably did not have enough time to listen to the Dharma from '01, so she still came. She still came to ask for more, maybe because of the father. There must be a matter of karmic ties from the past. That is, '06 met the princess. And she must have known that the princess received an order from the father to do something. And because the story of the past life in the case study of the king who became a monk was told. And everyone talked about who was who, so it was related to the princess's father. That he used to be a king whoever listens to that, I don't want to tell it here. But there must be a grudge. And so in this life, '01 does nothing to please the father. And so Kun Muang has to contact her all the time. Now, since '06 lost money in the stock market, he had to spend a huge amount of money. '06 talked to Kun Muang and saw that there were benefits that could be exchanged because '06 did not see karma or sin, so he probably had a wrong view. That made him not believe in the concept of merit and sin. Some people said that he used to live in the south, so he might have been a Muslim before. I don't know about that. But some people went to ask, consult, and talk to a monk who had achieved enlightenment. He even pointed out that '06 was a Muslim. So we have to believe him, right? Now, when '06 lost money in the stock market, he had to find money to pay back the owner of the money he had given to invest. '06 would probably find a way to take '01's temple money. But at that time, He probably took it gradually, but not a lot, or he had already taken it. '01 didn't know, but before that, '06 hadn't thought about it that much. But from what I know, when he lost money and had a huge debt, he had to find money to pay it back. And then because he met Kun Muang, there was an exchange of benefits. When they reached an agreement, Kun Muang didn't have a lot of personal money, but he had a backer, which is the green guy in this picture. There was a backer, which is another source of information, and it talks about the deep state and says that the deep state in Thailand is the cabal, which is based on Islam. And when Kun Muang wanted to be the king, I apologize for the story, but I want to tell it and I don't mean to accuse anyone. Kun Muang hoped to be the king to compete with Rama X in the present, and probably spend a lot of money to build a reputation or campaign. But because of his merit, it was not enough, so he did something bad and was punished by 10. So he didn't have much money. But because he still wanted to be the leader, the cabal knew that they were going to lose power if the new money system really came in. So they had to find a backer who would be the clash for them, and so they offered support to Kumari or Kun Muang so that they could compete with 10. The support was to give money. And the green guy had a lot of money, and he expected to take over our country. So he had to rely on the royal family who were already the leaders. If anyone is not Buddhist, there is a chance that he can buy it. It just so happens that 10 is a strong Buddhist, but Kun Muang is not like that. Then, when Su made an offer, it coincided with '06, who also needed help. So he borrowed it to '06. He exchanged it for the land on the grounds of the Dhammakaya temple. He didn't care about the pagoda, but he could use it as his place of worship. He just invited the sacred objects of Buddhism to come and put it down himself. He also has his own principles. Now, he wanted this land to join the ceremony because someone also said that he wanted to have the Hajj ceremony in Thailand. He used the land of the Great Dhammakaya Pagoda to perform the Hajj ceremony for Muslims in this area. Everyone has the right to dream. When he saw that there were monks at this temple who needed help and no one could help them, he agreed to buy it. He said that if you can't find the money to pay me back, it's okay. Let's exchange the land on the grounds of the Dhammakaya temple. '06 didn't have a problem because he didn't have any other guarantees because he was a monk. So he just thought that if they wanted something, they could give it to him because money came first. Now, after they had obligations like this, it had to start doing whatever it took to please you. But it wouldn't reach '01's suffering. Until this incident happened, which was '02's issue, because '01 had a bond and had been a great friend to '02 since 1966, which was almost 50 years ago. But at that time, in 2015, I already told you that '02 at that time was still very loyal to '01. So anything '01 thought of that was good. '02 wanted to help. Then '02 saw that the issue of the Klong Chan cooperative would cause '01 suffering as well. It just so happened that '01 thought that the real suffering person was the Klong Chan cooperative that did not have dividends to distribute to members, so he thought that he should help Supachai, but not return Supachai's money because Supachai had already confirmed that he did not use the money that belonged to the cooperative to make merit and that he had already returned all the money he had received to the cooperative. Therefore, he knew about merit and would definitely not commit sin. But his suffering made '01 say in the air that he wanted someone to help ease the burden of the cooperative that did not have dividends to members. The members were suffering and a lot of them were suffering. And when '01 thought of that, someone helped. When there was someone to help who was '01's son, as far as I know, there was Kune too. I don't know if there were minor ones or not. But after that, '02 thought, oh, there wasn't a lot of work at the temple, but there was some money left. At that time, '06 was also a committee member. But because during that period, around 2014 to 2015, '01 didn't have a committee meeting. That is, 01 hasn't had a committee meeting since 2009 because 01 once came to speak at the school that he went to present at the meeting. There were only denials, only excuses for not doing it, and it would make 01's work not progress. So 01 had to come and tell about new projects through kindergartens for students all over the world instead. So 01 didn't go to the temple management meeting anymore. Someone told me that 02 was in the meeting of the 3 ashrams, and 06 came to offer himself. So 02 made 06 the head monk. It was probably because 06 had a doctorate from Japan. 02 believed that 06 should be smarter than anyone. When 06 said something, he believed him first. That is, 02 might have an ego that if 02 pretended not to be able to keep up with 06 or didn't understand what he was saying, 06 might think 02 was stupid. So 02 had to have a form like, okay. Whatever 06 said, just go along with it like this. That way, he wouldn't feel that people might think, oh, why can't you keep up? Are you stupid or something like that? I think it must be this ego that made 02 give in to 06. He was so big that he let 06 propose all sorts of ideas whenever someone objected. 02 would tell him to follow 06 and believe in 06 or something like that. Now, 02 in the meeting actually knew what kind of person 06 was during that time when 02 was still 100% loyal to 01. He knew that 06 liked to do things that went astray, but he didn't know what to do with him. If he chased him away, he was afraid that he would become a delusional too, so he just let him go. Then, it came to the point where 02 talked in the meeting that 02 wanted to pay back the temple's central fund to the host who helped the cooperative pay off its debts, so that the host would have money to make merit in other ways. It turned out that 06 didn't agree, so 02 thought that he didn't think the same way as everyone else anyway. So 02 thought that 06 would be worried that after paying the central fund, there wouldn't be enough money left to feed the temple people. 02 believed in 01's merit. So 02 proposed to 06 that if 06 agreed to pay back the host who helped with the cooperative, 02 would give 06 half of the remaining central fund. 06 would be able to use it to build his own empire and not have to worry about this. The language spoken is like the hero. But then 06 thought otherwise. If he could do this, why would he build a kingdom? He asked to stay at Wat Phra Dhammakaya and let 02 be the one to leave. When he said this, 02 didn't know what to do. This story was told in the previous clip. So, to sum it up, 02 was worried that he had to leave Wat Yai because he had to give in. When 06 saw that he wanted to stay here, 06 would seize the power to manage the temple. Then, from 01's line that was mixed into 06's line group, news was sent to the real person, making him know that 02 had actually signed the power to manage the temple to 06 in 2014. This made 02 very worried. But 02 was the person who was most considerate of 01. So he didn't tell anyone about his problems. He just jokingly talked to people close to him that he didn't know where to go or whether he should go to Kanchanaburi or stay with the abbot of a good temple or something like that. As he talked, it reached the ears of the host who came to visit. The host must have been someone who practiced Dhamma well and normally communicated. 01 already got it or something. So 01 knew from the center of his body that 02 was having a problem with signing over the authority to manage the big temple to 06. 02 had to leave the temple, 01 had to help solve the problem. 01 asked for merit right away, build Thata Chivo Pagoda, build a kingdom for 02 urgently because 02 had already signed the contract, which meant that by the end of that year, 2557, 02's birthday is December 21st, he had to leave the temple. Then, after 01 asked for merit to build Thata Chivo Pagoda for 02, 02 continuously told his children to gain a lot of merit and gratitude. 01's children also came to do it. At this event, 06's older brother also came to make merit. After that, he wasn't seen again. I don't know what happened. Now, after asking for merit directly, 01 was sure that it would be finished in time for December as promised. 02 had to move from the temple to live there. Then 01 was sure that he could help 02. 01 didn't care about anything. But later found out in 2015, September, the Buddhist Lent, right after 06 prayed for the Buddhist Lent at Wat Dhammakaya. It turned out that 01 must have known because in 2015, 01 was still in the temple praying for the Buddhist Lent. 01 must have seen that 02 was still praying for the Buddhist Lent at Wat Phra Dhammakaya, which means that he had not gone yet or that he did not need to go anymore, or something happened. So he wondered if it was the pagoda or the youth training center or something that had prevented 02 from going. After checking, he found out that 06 had already withdrawn the construction budget, approximately 700 million baht, and told the finance department that he would use it to pay back the sponsors who helped 01 solve the problem of the cooperative not having dividends. So the finance department had to give it all, approximately 700 million baht. After giving it, it was not reported to 01. I am not sure. I do not know the details of what proposal 06 made to the finance department, whether it was the same as he usually did. Because I have a friend who is a monk, talked to the finance department. The monk friend in the finance department said that 06 likes to withdraw money from the temple's central fund when 01 asked for any donations. 06 liked to borrow and withdraw to help Kusadet first, saying that he would return it after the Phapa ceremony. So he gave it to him, but 06 never returned it even once. And from what I know, even the money for the construction of the personal Dhammakaya to close the pagoda. Oh, I noticed that 01 asked for donations to close the pagoda once. Then suddenly the next year he asked for donations to close it again. So I thought that there must be a problem with this, that someone took the money. Even the 100-year-old building of Grandma Chan, it was the same. 01 found all the sponsors for all 15 floors, and there were sponsors for every floor, and the Kathan ceremony was over. Then another year, he asked for donations for sponsors again. It shows that there must be a loss of money here, but 01 just kept going. Whoever wants to commit a sin, if 01 doesn't know, that's fine. But if 01 knows, 01 won't let him do it. But no one probably reported it. But when my monk friend found out from another monk that it was 06 who withdrew money from various funds to Kusadet, and it wasn't just for construction or anything, he also withdrew allowances. It's from the monks who live there, every month. But it's strange because I have friends. The host who went to make merit there for a while, he said that because he lived in that area, he often saw that the monks at Khao Kyu said were rich. They would see them buying new cars every now and then. That monk also used a new car. Why were there so many relatives and devotees donating new cars? Oh, and I had seen from photographs, the conference room where they held meetings with teachers of the dream school, things like that. There were strange chandeliers that looked luxurious and out of shape. And there were too many air conditioners, almost lining up on the ceiling on both sides. It was something that I felt was very unusual. Why were you spending money so extravagantly? It was like saying that you don't return the money to the big temple. You spend it here and there and then say that you don't have anything left to return. That's 06's nature. Everyone knows it. Now, this amount of 700 million baht, 06 took it. In 2015, in the middle of the Buddhist Lent, which was September, 01 received a report because 01 asked why the pagoda wasn't finished. The answer was that there was no money. The finance department had to explain to 01 what happened, right? So 01 knew when 06 had taken the money. 01 then called 06 to meet and ask. There were people eavesdropping and didn't dare to show themselves. They heard and saw. 01 asked 06, "Did you took this money? What did you do with it?" 06 didn't answer, but didn't deny that he didn't take it. So, to sum it up, when 01 found out that 06 took it, he refused to tell where he took it, who he gave it to, or why he took it. 06 refused to answer the 3 questions, so 01 chased him away, telling him to get away from the temple and never come back again. In this charge, it was written that 01 chased 06 away in September 2015. There was a broken line. If you don't tell me where you took the money, you don't admit that you did something wrong. And you won't find the money to pay me back, it means you must have done something bad. But if you don't tell me, it means I can't keep you. Because if you do, you might take it again. How many times have you taken it? 01 must know that 06 has taken the temple's money many times already. He will have committed too much sin. So 01 chased him away so he won't have to commit sin again. This is kindness. But 06 was chased away and not allowed to come back. He was resentful and hurt. Because in reality, 06 promised someone, it was purple, right? Therefore, 06 must find a way to possess the Dhammakaya temple kingdom because everything is money that he can use to pay off his debts. It made him unable to think positively. But 01 saw in the center of his body with Dhammakaya knowledge that 06 had a completely black center of his body, meaning he kept thinking about committing sins. If he thought about taking, and took it many times, his center of his body would not be white anymore. If we look at it logically, taking without telling anyone is stealing, right? Stealing repeatedly and lying that he would return it and not returning it, that is lying, violating the second, and fourth precepts all the time. He had to stop. 01 was kind and gave 06 face. Meaning he did not expose him, did not tell anyone, and gave him a place to go. He told him to go wherever he wanted. But he did not have to stay around here and did not have to show his face at the main temple. But who knew that 06 would be so resentful? Some people said that 06 flew to America in the middle of the Buddhist Lent and then told people he met that 06 was told to go and learn more English. But in reality, some people said that he planned it. Read the law and find a way to use legal knowledge. How to force 01 to no longer be the abbot. Then 06 found a way to consider criminal cases using its process from the beginning. Before it reaches the point of filing a lawsuit, it can do something to force 01 to be removed from being a monk and may even force him to die without 01 having done anything wrong. Just have someone who is a commoner sue the public and then they invest a little for the public to spread bad news that 01 is not good or something like that to make it reasonable to believe that bail is not granted or something like that. 06 planned it, but of course he planned it for only 3 months. I don't know, but there is evidence that 06 came back in December during the king's birthday, which is the ceremony to appoint monks every year. But in the same year, 2015, 06 came back to receive the fan of the title and the appointment as a Nandara of the abbot of Wat Ratcha Oros, who received the position of Phra Maha Pha in 2014. But there was a ceremony to appoint 12 Nandara monks, but appointed 06 in 2015, the following year. And counting from September to December of the same year, it means that 06 left the temple far away for only 3 months and returned, without anyone knowing that he went because 06 committed a crime. But 06 didn't come to hang around for 01 to see his face at the big temple until he did what he planned to file a criminal lawsuit with 01 and already hired someone. This is not accusing him. There are people who really said it. If it's not true, go ask 06 to come and correct it if he didn't do it, but it's like no one told him. And he didn't come out to correct anything. Because people probably wouldn't believe it anyway. But Mongkorn Songkai said that he really did it. He was the one who planned to file a criminal lawsuit against '01, and he really did it. So there was a lawsuit, and when it was filed, it was as we know it in 2016. After 2016, '01 had another sermon to chase '06 away because '01 had chased '06 away in the middle of the Buddhist Lent in 2015. Why did he come back and stay? And while he was there, if '06 didn't do the same zigzag thing he used to do, '01 might have forgiven him. But it happened that after he was there, '06 still did the same thing, so '01 couldn't let '06 stay at the big temple anymore. He had to chase him away as far away as before. And in '01's sermon, it was written quite clearly that whoever likes to zigzag, if they don't stop, let them go. Get out of the temple and get away from the monks. Don't be a monk because it's the way of the world. '01 wrote the order clearly like this, and '02 knew it well. Now, when I saw the evidence that on the day '06 came back to receive the fan and the royal decree from the abbot of Wat Ratchaoros, '02 was sitting with him, I knew that it must be '06 who talked to '02. And '02 had the compassion that I had always thought that in the past, the story of Manao, I asked to come back to the temple. But I wasn't allowed to. This made him angry, and he kept trying to discredit me, '01 and our temple. It's been 10 years. '02 has told someone, I don't know, I heard this story. And then said that I didn't want this kind of thing to happen to '06. I was afraid that it would be a delusion. In the end, it might be this word. But in the previous clip, I already told you why. Friends, go listen to the previous clip and you will know the real thing. That is the final, the most certain reason why '02 did it. But '02 had a discussion with '06. I thought of this sentence. Discussion will lead to farewell. Scholars will discuss. Not associating with bad people is the highest blessing, right? '01 taught himself about the 38 blessings in life. But '02 was the one who associating with bad people. And then '06 persuaded him or something. That made '02 help. And helping '06 come back by letting him accept the position of Luang Por Wat Ratchaoros like this. He might claim that, wow, '06 is a doctoral monk. It's not that many in our country. Something like that. I mean, looking at it in terms of qualifications. But '02 didn't look at it in terms of morality. It was '02's mistake at that time. '02 saw things differently from what '01 saw because '02 did not see the results of karma, did not see the sins in hell as '01 did. This caused '02's judgment to deviate from what '01 taught, like they were polar opposites. When '02 helped '06 back, they joined forces. But at that time, '02 did not know that '06 planned to use criminal methods to force '01 to leave his position as abbot. That is, if you damage a monk's reputation greatly, even if you do not know whether it is true or not, in the worldly sense, that monk is considered to have a taint, so he is not suitable to continue being the abbot. So '01 had to appoint someone else to replace him. '06 even went as far as talking to the provincial abbot to request this position. From this image, I explain it according to the image. When '06 received help from '02 by giving him the title of Luang Por Wat Ratchaoros in 2015, '06 was free to go and take legal action to force '01 to leave his position as abbot, and he succeeded. But '01 was not caught. Then in 2017, '01 issued a message ordering '06 to leave the temple again if he did not stop doing the zigzag, causing '02 to not have to leave the temple anymore. The pagoda in Kanchanaburi had already stopped being built, so it didn't matter. But the 700 million baht was not returned, so '01 wouldn't want it back. If '06 were to return, the money had to be returned. But if he had already been chased away, the money would not be returned. But '02 probably wanted to be merciful to '06, so he believed '06 completely. When '06 returned with a vengeance, he collaborated with '01's big secretary, who helped O2, and O6 created a criminal case to oppress O1. Later, Section 44 was used to search the temple. But O1 still wasn't found, right? O1 was still there and still had power. But after October 2017, O6 left the temple again. And O1's big secretary was ordered by O1 to step down from all work and go meditate in Chiang Mai. At that time, O1's authority had not yet been revoked. So, O1 sent a message ordering the district to gather great merit. Let the children in every level receive the merit of planting the 5 treasures to use in the merit of the Dhamma Chai pilgrimage of Luang Pu Sat on the New Year's Day of 2018 and then proceed. According to the order of O1 that was sent through the message here. By ordering the big secretary to take a break from work to meditate alone, but O1 didn't know that the big secretary was right. Behind the scenes, Ms. E went to bring her back and gave a decisive order that the 5 monks who were in the meeting with Ms. E must help cut off all the work orders from O1. Otherwise everyone in that meeting room will be in trouble. O1 sent the work orders during that period for a few months. After World Earth Day, April 22, 2018, O1 couldn't give orders anymore. After 3 months, there was a sermon from O1 that was modified. And it was O1's big secretary who claimed that the sermon orders from O1 were his sole right and forbade anyone else from interfering at all. 3 months from April 22, 2018. There was a story from the Hidden Dragon that Kiantawan sent to his friends in the temple via line in August 2018. Then, he was ordered to stop entering the temple without a signature. But a guard came to invite the head of the guard, who was a monk, to talk and politely invite him to leave the temple. This shows that the internal circular prohibiting the person who sent the story about the hidden dragon from entering the temple, even though it was not signed by anyone, was really effective. And I also learned from the head of the guard that on Dhammakaya Day and the first Sunday of the month when there is a merit-making ceremony for offering rice to monks, there is an order to place heavy guards at every door, checking for me and my partner who were ordered not to enter the temple, to sneak into the temple. They deployed a large number of people as if the person who sent the story from the hidden dragon was a serious threat to them who were encroaching on the real O1. It just so happened that me and my partner did not feel like going to the temple anyway when I saw that if any monk dared to issue a mafia-like order that contradicted the teachings of the real O1 to order the host like us, it shows that the power to govern and manage the temple is in the hands of evil-hearted people. Even though the real O1 was in the temple, he could not do anything and did not know about their bad things. What will happen next will definitely not be a meritorious matter. Not going to the temple is considered really lucky. The guards were careful and protected in vain. But during that time, the worm-chasing group kept sending letters to file a complaint against the 7 monks. Referring to the 5 monks in the meeting room with Ms. E, including O6 and O2. And it turned out that the 7 monks were in the news on Manager Online on September 23, 2018 in full. That is, complete information like public relations rather than public shaming. Because the information given in the news writing was like wanting the public to think for themselves whether to believe the worm-chasing group or believe the 7 senior monks at the administration level of a large temple like Wat Phra Dhammakaya who were said to control the entire temple at that time. Which outsiders would believe more? The worm-chasing group was seen as a group that undermined or a group of people from different religions who were hired to destroy the temple's reputation. Even though there was truth and evidence of the monastic discipline violations and the parayika violations of the 7 senior monks. But the temple administration used the method of not accepting complaints or any complaint letters, but instead went to make a famous news report once. And then silence, not answering or refusing the letter from the worm-chasing group, but using the guerrilla method to ambush one by one, collecting the worm-chasing group by starting with the leader. In the end, the worm-chasing group was hunted down and had to disband. The people who bullied O1 in the temple collaborated with O6 to deal with the worm-chasing group and successfully prohibited people from sending the story of the hidden dragon from O1. When the Cathan ceremony was over in 2018, a plan was made and a new temple committee was appointed. O6 returned to the committee and immediately started raising funds to announce new merit-making events, using a copy of O1's message as a fake sermon right away. Signed as someone invite people to make merit on New Year's Day 2019. The first merit that came from the new executive committee led by O6 sinful people with wrong views was the gold plate of the great Dhammakaya Sedia to cover the dome. What is the purpose of inviting people to make merit? So that there will be money to be shared to use. Look at the charge. Following the blue path, 700 million baht, got 700 million baht for what? To use as a cost to protect 7 monks that the anti-money laundering office found to be cheating. Actually, they cheated the temple money. Each person was in their own department. That is, the 5 monks who were in the meeting room with Ms. E. combined O6 and O2, totaling 7 monks according to the news. Then O6 was smart and went to tell the officials by telling the cheating monks to blame O1 completely because he claimed to be in the temple and working according to the orders of the President O1. Therefore, if there was anything wrong, it was following the orders of the President O1. Let O1 be the only one to take responsibility. Everyone would be able to stay. The temple would not have to lose its reputation. Let O1 lose his reputation alone because O1 would not be there to be caught by anyone. And there was also a case of evading the arrest warrant. O1 would not come out to meet anyone. And the temple would have an excuse that if the authorities found out who helped him, the helper would be charged as well. So it was the reason that O1 would not contact anyone so that that person would not be in trouble. If someone found out and reported him to the authorities, that person would be in trouble. In a rough way, O1 did not contact anyone. This time, the 7 dishonest monks are free to do whatever they want. Since the first merit making in the first year, which was 2019, they asked for merit making to find money to protect 7 monks. That is, 1 monk was charged 100 million baht for protection. 7 monks equal 700 million baht because O1's big secretary knew the phrases that O1 liked to use. He forged the document to be O1. As for the signature that said, someone. At first I thought it was because O1 was involved in a lawsuit, so the temple didn't dare say that it was O1 who ordered it, right? But in fact, it wasn't. Because the dragon overlaying the body O1 said that O1 cannot order at all. If O1 could order, O1 would not let anyone invite to make new merit. Because in reality, if the abbot is in a lawsuit, the temple should not invite to make new merit or invite to create new things except for the standard merit that is regularly done. And focus on finding a way to help the abbot get out of the lawsuit first before creating new merit. Because when a group with O1 as the leader of merit will create merit, there must be a merit origin and a merit line with the merit origin, right? So if you want to make new merit, you must let the merit originator be the one to invite. If O1 is not the merit originator, you cannot be sure if other people who invite will take you on the same path that O1 invites. So you have to wait. You have to find a way to help O1 get out of the lawsuit. Don't find a way to do new projects all the time. So this is the idea that the temple made a mistake from that point on. That is, as soon as O1 got in a lawsuit, the temple announced to invite to do a new project and claimed to be a certain person. Later that year, we found out that that person was the higher-up, the Purple Kumari. In the temple, they said that the higher being doesn't want to hear the sound of Dhammajayo being called. And the temple also ordered everyone to remove every picture of O1 from their site in the temple. whether it be books or pictures. Why did they have to do that? Does that mean the temple wants to welcome the purple higher being to replace O1, right? I heard that before. Purple definitely didn't come to the temple because O1 has never given her money. She asked O1 once and he wouldn't give it to her. It was embarrassing and a waste of many things. Why did she come? She knew that O1 wouldn't give it to her because he couldn't give it to her. She should come to make merit instead of asking for money. But she didn't understand. At that time, when the temple had a sermon inviting O1's children to make merit that was the same as O1's but signed as someone, it turned out to be the Purple Princess. And the temple invited a group of O1's children to make merit at that event in order to give her what she had wanted from O1 but had never received, donations. Since she had wanted money from the beginning, it meant that the merit that the temple invited O1's children to make since '06 was to be the new temple committee. It was done in order to take the donated money to give to her, the Purple Kumari. '06 had to make an agreement with her in advance. '06 thought of various projects that would earn money for the Purple Kumari to please her because she had helped earn money for '06 to pay off '06's old debts. During that time, when O1 couldn't manage anything and had been given any orders, only the meditation guiding voice through a tape was left. They were afraid that if O1's meditation guiding voice was cut, it might cause the loss of the devotees who loved O1 very much. So they still seamlessly used the meditation tape of O1 at every merit-making event. Whatever the devotees would agree to, believe in, and have faith in, they still used it. But they gave the excuse that O1 still had a case, so he couldn't come out to meet anyone. But when they gave the same order as O1 to go and do something to the pagoda by covering the dome of the Great Dhammakaya pagoda with gold sheets, it was actually because they were afraid that the sacredness on the dome with the Lord Buddha would prevent them from doing what they wanted. Asking for donations of gold sheets to cover the dome was a plan to use black magic to do something dirty, obstruct, and destroy the sacredness so that O1 couldn't practice Dhammakaya knowledge through the pagoda. And asking for donations was to get the least factor. Look at this chart. According to the blue line, 700 million was given to '06, so that '06 gave it to DS as a cost to prevent 7 monks to be witnesses to implicate that they followed O1's order, which is O1 was wrong. '06 went to do it in January 2019. And then planned to invade the temple in February 2019 to arrest O1 based on the crime that the 7 monks implicated as cheating by themselves, so that O1 would be solely responsible, making O1 know, with his future intuition, that this time they came to arrest O1, it wouldn't be like 2016 and 2017 because their plan was to find O1 or not. He would kick everyone out and close the temple so that they could seize the temple's assets. January 2019 was the month they worked on the gold plates, came to work on the pagoda, to close the dome, which was to close it with dirt, black magic, witchcraft that is the opposite of the pure element of nirvana, so it made it impossible to overlay the Dhammakaya here. O1 unable to perform magic through the great Dhammakaya Setya, it became difficult to fix and protect the children because it would require a lot of merit because they had made dirty things on the Setya. This made O1 have to refine every time to perform magic through the Setya. This meant performing magic to resolve big issues required merit through the great Dhammakaya Setya. When they finished performing the black magic to cover the dome, O1 knew that when they came this time, they would drive everyone out of the temple. O1 saw that more than 3,000 of O1's children would have no place to live, no place to eat, no place to build merit. O1 expected that at least while they were still alive, they would not be able to do anything to damage the temple. If the temple really was seized and closed, the golden bodies of Luang, Pu Sad and Grandma Chan would have to be disintegrated and everything would end very quickly. And the children who had devoted their lives would have difficulty making a living, and they would have nowhere to go to find new jobs or live elsewhere. In the end, O1 decided that it would be better to leave the temple because O1 could still perform Dhammakaya magic from other places. Since O1 was in the temple, he could not show himself to meet anyone anyway. Even giving orders by text would be obstructed. That is, the big secretary of O1 betrayed O1 like this. Writing orders and just not delivering them. Plus impersonating and ordering other things in O1's name like what was already done with the signature of someone. If O1 went somewhere else, O1 could still help his children in the details. O1 wouldn't have to sit and refine the pagoda all the time. O1 could help, so O1 decided to go by making evidence for someone to take to O6. Look, on February 2, 2019, O1 left the Dhammakaya temple so that the temple wouldn't be closed. This is all for now. Let's follow up in the next clip.